Hi friends, in today's lecture we would study how to create a dynamic sales chart in Excel. So without any further ado, let me take you straight into Excel and show you how you can achieve the same. So friends, this is my Excel sheet. If you see on the left side, I have the headings like month and sales. And over here I have two drop downs, one in which I can select the targets from 100, 90, 80, 70 or 60, and in the second I can select the kind of target related data, that is above the target or below the target or all relating to the data. So if I select 80 and if I select above, so the graph will change and show me all the data in which the target is above 80. If I select below, then the graph would dynamically change and show me all the data in which the target is below 80. If I select all, then it would show me data for everything. So same way I can change the target to 60 and I can change the data to below. So all the data in which the target is below 60 would be shown, and so on. So this is called as a dynamic sales chart, because you can see this target line will change depending on the target which you select from here, and you can also see the data would change depending on what kind of data you select over here to show. So let us see how you can achieve and create this kind of graph. So here you can see that I have a simple worksheet in which in the B column I have the month names, in the C column I have the sales, and over here I have the target and show data. So first we'll create the drop down. So I click on target over here, and then I click on data and select data validation, and from allow I select list, and in the source I enter 100, 90, 80, 70 and 60. You can go on 40, 50, up to 10 you can go on. So right now I want only the target figure should range between 60 to 100. So I will select OK, and I will just check whether my drop down is showing the values. So my drop down is now showing the values. Same way for show data, I select that and click on data validation and change this to list, and over here I change the value as above, comma below, comma all, and then I click on OK. So over here I can select above, below or all. So my drop downs are ready. Now in order to make the dynamic chart, I'll insert two columns over here. So I click over here and press Ctrl and plus once and Ctrl and plus again. So these are two dummy columns. I'll name them as sales and target, and we'll hide them once the purpose is achieved. Now I go into the cell below the target and I type equal to, and I select this target cell. I lock it by pressing F4 and I hit enter, and I then just copy it down. So now you can see that if you select 90, all this changes to 90. If you select 70, all changes to 70, and so on. Now for sales, I want to show data. Take for example, for all those values in which the target is below 60, only that should come here. So how to construct such a scenario? So for this we'll use the if criteria. So we'll say equal to if open parenthesis, and then since we want to give multiple ifs we'll type and, then we'll say open parenthesis, and then we'll give the criteria. So our criteria would be if this cell I4, I'll lock the value by pressing F4, is equal to, let's take from beginning, let's take it as above, so there should be no spelling mistakes. If I4 is equal to above, and this value is nothing but C4, okay, the sales value, and C4 is greater than the target, that is H4, which I will lock it. If this criteria is true, then I want to write the value of C4. So see the condition. If I4, that is this cell, is equal to above, and if the sales figure is greater than the target, that is H4, then only type C4, that is the contents of the cell. Otherwise what? I'll give a comma and I'll say if. Again I'll construct the second choice. If I4, again I'll lock it by pressing F4, equals to, in quotation marks I'll type below, close quotation marks, comma, and the contents of C4, C4 is the sales value, is less than H4, that is this, which I will lock it. If this is true, then what I want? Then only type C4. Otherwise what? Otherwise I'll say comma, if the contents of C4, if the contents of I4, again I'll lock it, equals to, in quotation marks I'll say all, then type C4, otherwise type 0. Then I will close bracket, then I'll close the outer bracket, and finally I'll close the outer bracket. So let's just see the criteria. If and I4 means this cell is equal to above, and contents of C4 is greater than H4, okay, H4 is this cell, then C4. Otherwise if, now here also you have to give a and, so you'll say and open bracket, if contents of I4, that is this cell, equals to below, and contents of C4, that is this cell, is less than H4, that is this cell, then C4. Otherwise the last criteria is if contents of this cell equals to all, then write C4, otherwise type 0. So close bracket for this if, outer if, and one more if. Then hit enter, and then now just copy the formula down. So it will show for all those values in which the target is below 60. If I select above, it will show me all those values in which the target is above 60. And if I select all, it will show me everything. Now, in order to make the graph, I select the month name, I keep the control key pressed and select sales and target as well. And then I click on insert and I select column chart and I select 2D column chart. I drag this column chart over here and make it slightly bigger in size. Now you can see the blue bars are representing the sales and the orange bars are indicating the target. Now I want to change the orange bar into a horizontal line. So I click the orange bar, I right click over here and I select change series chart type. In this I select target, I click on this drop down and select line. Then I select OK. So you can see that the target is changed to line. If I change the target, the line moves up and down. Okay. So that was about the target. And same way you can change this below and the data also changes. So your chart has indeed become a dynamic chart. Now I want to hide these two columns which were dummy columns which we created in the beginning. So highlight these two columns, right click and select hide. Now the graph also gets hidden. So don't worry, click on the graph, then right click on the graph and select data. In this select hidden and empty cells and select show data in hidden rows and columns and click on OK. Again click on OK. Now your dynamic chart is ready. You can test it with any values from your drop down and you can see the corresponding figures being reflected over here. So friends, hope you have learned something new. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you again in the next video. Till that time, goodbye.